Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Sahid Jimo, and today I'm going to be your instructor or facilitator, if you like, for this training that we're having today. And without wasting any of your time, I just want to let you know, Prefort Consult is a company that we use to train people. And if you want to contact us for further information about training, you can get those information across to us with you see the website there, you see the email as well, and then the WhatsApp number you can reach us on. So today we hope to cover introduction into cybersecurity, what are the cyber careers, and what are the things driving cybersecurity, as well as common cyber attacks and how to prevent yourself from falling victim of such attacks. So at the end of the day, I think you'll be better covered, and then you'll be aware more on how to behave yourself on the internet. So Prefort Consult, what do? We do consultancy work. Companies come to us for services. It could be for certification. It could be for training of their employees. And then mentoring. People come to our training. We mentor them. We'll train them. After training, the next thing is to make sure you support them until they secure a job, because that's the reason why they came to us in the first instance. And our students are not just within the UK, because I reside in the UK at the moment. We have people joining us from Nigeria for this training. And you'll be surprised, people that have gone for cybersecurity masters, they still come to us because of the advantages that we bring to the table in terms of the knowledge that they acquire from us. Because it's not theoretical things that we teach them reality of what happens within cybersecurity. Without any further ado, let me now take you into cybersecurity proper. So what is cybersecurity? It is the art of defending computers, servers, mobile devices, electronic equipment that you can think of, even your TVs, and data from malicious attacks, which we can also call information technology security or electronic information security. So in cybersecurity, we talk about three things. CIA, not the Central Intelligence Agency, which is from America, but we love acronym in cybersecurity. That is why it is easier for us to acronymize it and make it short and for people to easily understand. So cybersecurity, we apply technologies, processes, and controls to protect systems, networks, and programs, devices, as well as data to protect them from cyber attacks. So we cannot do justice to this topic without mentioning what Mark Nunokoven, Vice President of Cloud Research for Trend Micro, mentioned. Cybersecurity has become critical to the fabric of any modern business, because as breach after breach hits the headlines, it is clear to everyone that organizations need more professionals focused on cybersecurity. What this tells us is that cybersecurity is not anything that is joked with any longer. People see it as very important, and even individuals, they just want to be aware, they want to have the knowledge about cybersecurity so that they can do what? They can become aware, hence why we are doing cybersecurity awareness training today. So remember CIA, our Central Intelligence Agency, is confidentiality, integrity, and availability. So we cannot exhaust this without going a little bit into them. And that's what I will do next, which is what is cybersecurity or information security. Once we have to understand characters making up a sentence, cybersecurity, information security. You see these words a lot about cybersecurity, information security. So what is information? It's just fact about something, situation, or an event. It is the fact. If you check Cambridge Dictionary, that's the definition. So data that is processed, stored, or sent by a computer, that is what Oxford Dictionary says it is. Then let's move on to cyber. What is cyber? It involves using or relating to computers, especially the internet. So your mobile phone your watches, smartwatches, your TV, or anything that connects to the internet, they are now under the category of cyber. So security now talks about protecting them, building protections around them to ensure that nothing that does not have any business to do with them will have access. And then you can find yourself becoming a manager. So you have the responsibility of ensuring that these that I've mentioned, they are protected. That is your job. And then you can become an officer, somebody having a delegated responsibility. Maybe you're just looking at a particular section of the organization. So once we have had this understanding of what information is, cyber is, security, and whether you become an officer or manager, whether you want to take the knowledge beyond this class, then information security, the word information there tells you it has to do with data. So it is protecting data, whether in its electronic format or any other form of confidential, private, and sensitive condition or format that it could be from unauthorized person having access to it. Having access to it could be for several reasons. I want to steal your data and claim it's mine. Misuse, that's one of it, or even disclose it or destroy it. That is ransomware attack, which we're going to look at later on. So cybersecurity is what? Defending the component that is housing this information, including the information inside it, i.e. computer, your TV, your servers, the data, protecting them, and the equipment itself against malicious attacks. So cybersecurity is broader than information security because it involves the asset itself and then the information contained therein. So that's the difference. I've told you today now. So if you go out there, when people are talking about these stuffs, you can beat your chest and tell them, oh no, you're making a mistake. There are differences between the two that you're mentioning there. But you see people bandying it about. But today, you're lucky you're here. You now know the difference between the two. So let's take this further. I've mentioned CIA to you, confidentiality, integrity, and availability. We cannot achieve confidentiality, integrity, availability without talking about identification, authentication, accountability, authorization, and non-repudiation. I will tell you what each of them means. Identification, everybody knows that. Identify yourself. My name is Bob. My name is Isaac. My name is Malik or Mohammed. Authenticate it. Tell me how we show you are the one. I'll provide you my ID card, my passport, which has been, authorized to be presented as a means of identification. So that will authenticate that my name is actually Bob, Charlie, or Mark that I've said it is. So accountability, if I do anything wrong, I could be held liable for misuse because I have to be accountable for whatever that I've used. You enter into an office, you open the safe there, you're not supposed to do so. You collected information or pilfer the money and take it away. Authorization. In the first instance, do you have the right to be where you have entered? Every one of us, you go into an office, you have a card, you touch it on the door, that is the door authorizing because you have the authorization to be there. That is authorization. Non-repudiation, as you are touching this card, you are keeping record of your activities. So you cannot come tomorrow and say, I didn't do it. You cannot repudiate. You cannot deny. So there is no culpable deniability there. All you have to do is do as you have been told to do, then there will be no problem at all. So CIA helps us to ensure that we get all this information and we get people to get access to wherever they need to be at every point in time. So what is confidentiality? Controlling access to data or information in order to prevent it from unauthorized access. Take, for instance, your bank account. I don't have access to your bank account unless you tell me. So it is confidential between you and your bank. Anytime that is disclosed, confidentiality is no more. Then if you talk about integrity, like they say too much depends on integrity. You have to guard it with your life. Integrity is what determines who we are. It determines who we have claimed that we are. So anywhere that we go, people will say what? Yes, I know that guy. He doesn't lie. Whatever he says that is integrity for you. And integrity is not something you have to joke with. And what does it mean for cybersecurity? It means you can do what? You can become trusted. That information given to you, nothing will happen to it. And that goes for our banks as well. Because immediately your data is tampered with, your bank, they have now breached integrity. And it's their duty to do so. Once that is failed, definitely you can shift your custom and you can hold them liable for that. Because you now know today, by virtue of attending this class, it is your right. Because it is written in the agreement when you are opening the bank account with them. Okay? The next thing I want you to know is when alteration is possible without your consent, then they have flouted integrity. And integrity does not exist in that instance. Okay? When you talk about availability, I don't know if many of you here were aware that there was a time we have global IT challenge that we are getting BSOD, blue screen of death. And people can't get onto their system because of what? Lack of availability. And it happened because of Falcon sensor from CrowdStrike, which run amok. And therefore, that is an example of availability. People couldn't log into their system. They have to restart. They have to go into safe mode and all that, which is beyond this class. My availability is I open my banking application. I put in my username and password. I need to be able to see my account and be able to make transfer or transactions if you like. If I cannot do that, there is breach of availability. And every organization always strive to make sure they have this in place. Then let's look at the bedrock of all these that we're talking about. How do we ensure confidentiality? I told you identification, your unique identifier, your face, that is your photo, your fingerprint, your name, your mother's maiden name, your school you attended, your address, and all that. So they ask, who are you? Your name, username, ID number, etc. So it is to identify you for who you claim to be. So this data will be collected and there will be an assurance of message source that if you want to confirm, that is, for instance, when you open an account, they say you should create some secret questions. You create some secret, it's just for your identification. There are some banks that you want to log into your banking application now. After maybe a while, you've forgotten your password or you reset your mobile phone, for instance, and you lost all these details. Those are the ways in which they can give you back your account. Simply put, identification. Then authorization is part of confidentiality. Is this person claiming to be Mark? The data he or she has supplied matches what you've gotten. Then, if it does, then there'll be authorization. So that's allowing who you are claimed to be as identified and authenticated to use certain resources. That is what authorization does for us as part of confidentiality. Integrity, it is just to show that my data has not been altered or modified in any way, shape, or form. And no repudiation, like I said to you before, it is to prove that nobody else, apart from you and I, that have access to this data, have made an alteration which is approved. Example, I bought something online for 100,000 naira. My account was debited. I cannot claim I didn't do so because there are confidential information that I've supplied that shows I'm the one. So that is non-repudiation. You cannot repudiate that you didn't do that. Authentication, which is part of confidentiality and integrity. You authenticated it. You know, they send you one-time password, OTP on your mobile phone, those numbers they send you. So password you entered is something you know that for sure. Token, something you have. If you have GT Bank, you have that little token, we can collect a number from it. If you have Barclays Bank here, you have that token. Fingerprint, you put your fingerprint on your phone to confirm you are the one making that transaction. Your IP address, where you are making the transaction from, we know it's from your location. You are not doing it from Russia or perhaps from North Korea, because they could see your IP address. They'll just block it. Signature, you sign. There's a way we all sign. Computers can match the way you sign and be able to say, yes, he's the one that signed. So that is part of what? Integrity. Making sure you are the one that are performing those actions. Next, we talk about authorization. Are you allowed to make the amount of money you want to transfer or deposit or debit to that particular account? So we have different ways we do that. We do that through discretionary access control, mandatory access control, role-based access control. Role-based means that you are working in that organization, you have the right to hire people into your organization. You don't hire people through the back door. You do it through the right means. You have that authorization. Mandatory, you are the one standing in that department that allows people to come into that department because you have been given that right to do so. Only one person, mandatory access. Discretionary, this is me giving you access. Discretion, based on what I'm convinced as an individual, I want to give it to you. That's the admin, giving you access to the system. So all these, they work together, role-based, your job, mandatory by virtue of your position that they've cleared you for, and discretionary because of duty you want to carry out. So they will all work together in tandem. If you get into an organization, the first thing they will give you is role-based. Yes, you land into the organization as what? Financial controller, right? Next thing, mandatory. Which department are you allowed to go into? You are allowed to go into finance department. Then, which system can you use? Discretionary access control. I hope the way I'm explaining this, it makes sense to you now how it works in cybersecurity, because people tend to say we do in cybersecurity, we just collect money, we don't do anything. This is what we do to ensure that not every Tom, Dick, and Harry can come into the organization. Accountability, as we have given you all this that I've mentioned, we have allowed you into the department, we have hired you, we now give you a system they have access to, then everything you do there, we can copy them. Don't be surprised. You are there on your system, playing away on Facebook, copying your organization data, sending them out, You think nobody is seeing you. We can be monitoring your system from somewhere else, seeing everything you're doing. That is possible. And then we keep the log, and you claim that you didn't do it. And we'll show you the log. Hence why non-repudiation comes into place. We'll do forensic analysis. If you claim you're not the one, we'll match everything, your home address, the system you logged in, the email you use, and all that. Even though your access was used, we are not the one that performed it, we can still confirm by doing further analysis, which we call forensic analysis, that I've just mentioned to you. Then, if you have understood what I've just mentioned, you know cybersecurity now. I've introduced you to it. The foundation of cybersecurity is CIA, Central Intelligence Agency, that you know, but we call it confidentiality, integrity, and unavailability. And I've told you how we ensure this is in place. We do all sorts of things. We do identification, authentication, authorization, non-repudiation, and so on and so forth to make sure that the person performing the task is actually the one that is required to do so. So what are the common cyber attacks that you've seen all the time? Ransomware, I'll start from the middle at the top. Ransomware attack. You know, kidnappers, they kidnap people and ask for money. These are own kidnappers. They kidnap your organization. They ask them, and that's why you see ransomware, ransom software. What does it do? It will lock your data with a key, imaginary key, which you call secret key, and tell you, because you don't have that key, that for you to unravel your data, to see them again, you have to pay me so amount of Bitcoin, because it's not traceable. Before I can unlock it for you, you can have back access to your data. So because they are the kidnappers of the internet, like I mentioned, companies will be running helter and skelter that, okay, how do I get my data back? They'll tell them to pay money, they'll pay. But nowadays, the FBI say in America, you shouldn't pay them because they don't want to make it lucrative any longer. Because it's not made lucrative any longer, some of them are still devising means of getting this attack done and ask you to use, you know, all those payment cards that you could use and many other ways that they could just move the money around. But as they are trying to move their goalpost, we too are moving it along with them to catch up. So when they take one step, we take 2 steps so to be ahead of them, because they use the same tools that we use for our own tool of trade. Malware, malicious software, every one of us, you cannot tell me that you've not tried sometime to use a free software. You have used free software, you go onto the internet, you download software because it's free. You have to be careful. You don't know if one day you're going to be the instrument to which some attackers will use to gain access into your organization. And they will find out how they gained the access through investigation. And if it's you, then they will start questioning you. And you might not be aware of how this happened. So be careful when you just download free software. Sometimes they are what? Malware. Sometimes they send you an email, which we're going to cover later. But data leakage. In your organization, some people might not be happy with the way they are being treated. Maybe they were they were neglected or not considered for a promotion, or they have a boss that is a pain in the other side, and then they just felt, okay, I can just do this company bad thing, like they say in Nigeria, and then before you know it, this guy starts copying the organization's data and selling it on dark web. So that is data leakage. Then you have insider attack, and like I just told you, the person doing that is the insider. Imagine if you have a very high fence. You have one door to come in, and nobody can come inside that organization without consent. So if this happens, the person who first suspect is an employee. We'll start looking at the employees. What have they done? What activities have they conducted? How has this affected the organization? So that's what we call insider attack. Activism. There are some people, if you know Julian Assange of Wikipedia, that released US secret data, sensitive information onto the internet. And he was under arrest for a long time, that he couldn't leave the UK until a particular time. And then, you know, activists, they're anonymous, they are there. Sometimes they say it's justified cause. They don't like a particular government, the way they've treated some people, and they'll keep attacking the country and all that. Those are activists from activism. Then phishing, this is common. A lot of us here, we are falling victim of that. People will send you email that you do not solicited for. And because you are so naive about it, they tell you to click on an email, you click on that email, and you think that information you clicked on, the website you clicked is the right one. So for instance, it looks like Apple. You click on it and it took you to lookalike of Apple, and you have your account on Apple that you use. You put it there. So what you've done is you've given them real access to people's Apple accounts. And the same thing goes for banking accounts. If you do so, they will just carry them and go on dark web and sell this information. That is their sources. I've just told you now. So these are common attacks that you would hear, you will see, and that you can relate to it easily. So let's take them one after the other. Phishing. It tricks you to steal information through fake emails or messages. You can see it sends you an email, and then you click on it. The guy is somewhere, might even be next door to you. So example, you get an email pretending to be from maybe your school, your bank, your hospital, and asking you to enter your username and password. The real one, they're not just asking you to enter a PIN, because these days what they could do is just put if it's genuine company, they'll just tell you, put your first name and this PIN that we have sent to you, and it will take you to the real website. But for these ones, they will not send you things like that. They will ask you to enter your main identity. So you will receive an email saying your account has been compromised. Click here to reset your password. The link looks like your bank's website, but is a fake designed to steal your login details. We need to be very careful of this. It's common. What do you need to do when you receive such an email? Move your cursor around that link. It will tell you the real place that link is going to. That is not your bank. Just hover your cursor upon it. If you have any question, you can drop them in the chat. I'll see them later. And let us move on. The next one is malware. I told you, malicious software is what we shortened as malware. So this is what? It is harmful software like viruses that can damage your computer or steal data. What are the types? You have virus that attach to files and spread to other computers. For instance, you see CSV. They'll send you something that looks like Excel, CSV. They tell you to click and open it. Don't open them. When you do that, you have installed an application, malicious software onto your device. What they will do, those malware, they will lie in wait. They'll be in your computer. So the CNC, command control computer is somewhere, server, controlling them, that will send command to them when it's time to attack. It could be not for yourself, it could be for another organization. So your computer will be sending information to another organization in case they want to use them to attack. You know, like robots, you have bots. That's why I have bots on the right-hand side. They are there. They have been recruited. They're just waiting. Ransomware, it locks your file, like I said before, and demands money to unlock them. Spyware, wow, this one is even bad. They monitor your activity. Have you traveled? That sometimes you get into the airport, you have a lot of free Wi-Fi, and you don't know which one to select. And they just put the name of the airport and the Wi-Fi. So there are a lot of them because you like free things. You just click on any one of them. You have given them access to your device, and they can easily pilfer your information. So be careful when you're out there. You go outside, maybe a library, and you say, because they say library internet is free, you just go there and connect to it, just like that. Be careful, always double check before you connect to any free Wi-Fi out there. So, for instance, on malware, I've told you, but let me tell you one that's very careful, that is very common rather. You download a free game from an untrustworthy website, and it secretly installs spyware that records your keystrokes and steals your password. We call them keyloggers. As you are pressing the keys, is registering which key you entered for your username and password. Then another one is man in the middle. This one you don't even know is there, but is all this time there in the middle as you're sending information is in your network. So a hacker secretly intercepts communication between two people, two systems, two devices. And we call this eavesdropping on your conversation. And because of the information he has gotten, he can use it against you. But we can try to avoid this by making sure our communication is what? HTTPS. When you go to a website, it doesn't have that padlock. It doesn't have HTTPS. So be careful when you are on the internet, when you're using any free or whatever devices you think you can just use. So that's man in the middle. You can see the guy there. It's in the middle of the communication. This computer is sending something to the internet, but is in the middle. That's the original connection. So the information will come from this left-hand side to this guy, who is the man in the middle, and then send that to that website. So this is believing that is talking to this one, but not knowing it's this guy. And therefore, they can just collect your banking details, your school details, whatever details, your hospital details, or whatever, and claim to be yourself against this server, and that is the end. So you connect to a coffee shop's free Wi-Fi and log into your email. An attacker on the same network intercept your login details. Hence why we need to have VPN on our devices. Next, we want to look at denial of service. I've told you about the global IT issues that happened recently. So let's look at the cartoon on the right-hand side there. Look at that photo. You see the attacker, the bot master, is sitting somewhere. And like I mentioned to you, it has recruited many victim computers, which are on the right, because you went to different websites, you downloaded free games and all that. So these are with you, you don't know. And this guy, he has registered each software on your computer. They are the bots representing this. So you just talk to this bot, and this bot will send an information to your computers, and you start attacking a particular website or an organization. You can see what they are sending, see the missile, see the email. They can send a lot of things to that website that is going to be receiving the attacks from various bots that have been recruited. So this is the way this works. And they can also install spyware onto your device. Keystrokes again, get the information you have done and all that. And before you know it, that is the end of the story. So now you can see what we have learned so far that's exposed you to how to prevent yourself from being victim of an attack. And what we want to look at, understanding cyber threats. What are those threats out there? You've known the attacks that could happen, but what are threats? Threats are those things that are waiting to take an advantage of the weakness in your system. They lurk around, wait for a long time, like the one I just explained to you now. That's what they do. They just lie in wait, make sure everything is okay before they just attack the system. And once the system is attacked, then all the information is shared with them, and they have you under their armpits, and they can use you the way they like. So what are the modern attacks? We need to understand these cyber threats, and along with those modern attacks that I've mentioned to you before. So those are the things that make them tick. What are those threats that is making this attack possible? So let's start. For instance, cyber threats could be internal or external. External, hackers and malware that have been sent to you. So a hacker tries to break into a company's network from outside because they've done what? They've recruited people. They use many ways, social engineering. They'll go on the LinkedIn, look at people that are working for that organization, collect their details, try and see how they can log into the system, claim to be, they are coming to do something for their office. They need somebody to give them access and all that. Before you know it, they penetrate into the organization. These are coming from external bodies. But internal, the one that is most difficult when you have enemies within, mistakes by employees or malicious insiders. Example, an employee accidentally leaks sensitive information, or intentionally, this is an insider attacker, steals company data and put it where? On dark web. So it is very, very common to see this, and you neglect them in your organization. And some people, they just think they can do anything they like. If the hands of the law gets you, you can go to jail for a long time, because that is what is against the law. And they can sue you for civil criminality, because what you are doing is against an organization, and it's going to affect a lot of people because people can become out of job. So that's why it must not be the tool that an attacker used in getting into an organization. So we can have internal or external threats. So let's look at social engineering. Many of us are victims of this. Have you been called before? Somebody will just say, "Hello, Bob. My name is Tony. I have been told by Mark, who is your boss, to get the details about how to log in into this device, but because he's not able to come in, he said I should tell you to help me so that you can supply me the information that I require." So the first thing you do, you give the person access. Once you give the person access, he can log in. Once he can log in, he continues to spy your organization, can commit fraud, influence actions that you can perform. Then what? Collect other people's password, and they can sell them because the security has been breached. So these are the ways in which social engineers, they do their stuff. I'll tell you a story. Penetration tester, which you can hire. We have 3 types of these people. You can have white hat hacker, gray hat hacker, and black hat hacker. The white hat hacker, they don't do anything illegitimate. The gray hat hacker, they can do either. It depends on who comes to them for assistance. And the black hat hacker, they just do bad things. That's what they do. So imagine somebody coming to test your organization, whether your security is strong enough. They can use any one of us. They can tailgate you. They can talk to you. They just come into your organization. "Oh, sorry, my name is Isaac. I just came from the other regional office. I just realized that I lost my ID card on getting to this place. Honestly, I'm just coming here to do auditing. Can you allow me to just get into the premises and I'll find my way out?" Never do that. Let the person go back and look for his or her pass to get into the organization. We are not supposed to be good Samaritan in our workplace. Never be the person through which your organization will come down. Even if you don't go to jail, they don't do anything to you, that will stay with you forever and forevermore. So the social engineers, they'll trick you into giving up personal information. And what is the pretexting? They'll pretend to need information for a legitimate reason. Like I told you, it's posing as, "I'm coming to do auditing," right? And they'll bait you. They offer you something enticing to get someone to reveal information. Free USB to download. You go to career fairs, they are giving you USB. Why should you collect? In the past, you can collect. Collect notebook instead. Why USB? Do you know what a USB will install into your system? You don't know. So that is why when you see all these free stuffs, I'm not talking about the training today. Some of them, they are baits for you to become a victim. If you go to TED Talk, there is one guy that talked about how the Iranian centrifuge on their nuclear power was attacked, how they did it. So it's there. It's through USB. They placed everywhere. People collected. They plugged into the computer managing the system, and he just put the centrifuge on auto drive without anyone controlling it. And that's how they spoiled the whole thing they are putting together. So protection tips. How do you protect yourself? Be cautious of unknown contact and make sure you verify identities, whether you're on Facebook, wherever you are. If you don't know somebody, do not associate with them. Don't let somebody tell you, "Oh, okay, you know what? My account has been blocked because I couldn't provide my NIN or da. Can I use your account to receive this money?" You are a goner because you have participated in money laundering. So be careful out there. We don't participate in things that we don't know about. You have no clue. Never do so. It will be very bad. It's better to avoid stories that touch. Again, if you have questions, please drop it in the chat box. I'll see them and take it from there. So the next thing before I move on this social engineering, I've told you about somebody. Okay, let me give another example. Someone calls pretending to be from your IT department and asks for your password to fix an issue. They use the information to access your account. You see what you have done to yourself? So do not just allow anyone to make you fall victim to this kind of antics. I hope this is making sense to everybody that is on this. We're going to be taking a break very soon. I'm conscious of how long we are here, so give you some time to just relax your legs and come back. Advanced persistent threats. This one, I want us, if you are going to forget anything, do not forget this today. There are many APTs out there. If you Google, you see a lot of APTs. They are called advanced persistent threats. Majority of them, they are nation-sponsored. They sponsor them to get victims that they can use for attacks against nations. So they are long-term activities. They just wait. They don't attack easily. So they do what? They stay hidden. Like I told you, you download a malware, it's on your computer. You are just working, you don't know it is there. So they quietly steal data over months. You don't even know. So how do you protect yourself? Regular security checks, advanced security software, making sure that you are aware of what you're getting from anywhere you're getting them from. You see attachments that are malicious in nature, they send them to you, you have it, you don't know. They can deliver them through web or go to any website, you just go there, you think you want free things, and you install that. After installing it, the malware will spread because your system is compromised, and they have a compromised network, which they can now do command and control. Go and read about WannaCry. You see how it was done. They've recruited many systems to do so. And when they release it, kaboom, all those systems that have the malware, they started going into work. So you have to be careful these days because there are a lot of audits that we are covering here today available that if you fall victim of them, you would not like yourself for what has happened to you. It is important you take this awareness training as germane. It is important, it is needed for you to be able to do what you need to do and stay safe online. So once you're aware of them, you cannot fall victim of them easily. Then, insider threats from people within the organization. Employees stealing company information. What are the protection? You control access to your information, monitor employees' activities. So that's why we call data exfiltration. So we use data loss prevention application. You can use Defender for this and many other applications that you can use as well that are out there. Because a disgruntled employee, like I said before, with access to sensitive information, can download it onto a hard disk and go and sell. So we need to be very careful of the type of people we associate with. They may lead us to jail because we have allowed them to get access into what we do. And because this is the case, they will go scot-free because they've covered their trails and nobody can get to them. So be careful of what you do on the internet. Be careful of where you put your details. Be careful of people that you associate with online. And if you need a software and you know you're using it for business, why don't you pay for it? Because if you pay for it, you help that business the person is doing, and it will do what? It will help them to grow, and as well as help yourself, that you can mention that I've used that before. So it is important we are aware of this and make sure we don't fall victims of such antics of attackers. So without any further ado, I want to give us like 10 minutes break. Let's go for a break and come back in 10 minutes time. That will be 4:05. That is when I'll be expecting you back. So let's get up stretch our legs, come back, drink water and all that so that we can continue the class. And I hope you are enjoying it. If you do so, if you're enjoying it, drop us a comment in the chat and then we can know whether we are doing well with this class so far, whether it's making sense or it's just me blabbing and not giving you anything of value. Remember to give us feedback in the chat and then we'll come back at 4:05. Thank you. See you after break. So we want to go to the next one after talking about various threats that we have. We have insider threats. We talked about APT, talked about social engineering, malware, and all that, those kind of threats that we have. So I've told you, if you are going to the public places, beware of the kind of Wi-Fi you want to join. Perhaps you don't have VPN on your assets. Be careful of which Wi-Fi you want to join. They don't know. You can go on YouTube and see what I'm saying. People purposely create Wi-Fi look-alike of where you are. And then you join them, you are giving your data. That is what we've seen. It happens every day, every time. There was one time they were showing one young lad that was hacking into people's accounts. That boy didn't even finish secondary school. So that is how easy it is to like break into people's accounts these days. So sit tight. I want to tell you now how to browse safely because we are here for awareness. So that's what we want to do next. In safe internet browsing, best practice for online safety is the next thing I want to talk about. So the next or first thing I want to talk about, you need to enable two-factor authentication. This is important. Do that and make sure you have this on your device. Extra security step is what we call two-factor authentication. A code will be sent to your phone and then use that in addition to your password. Example is logging in with a password and a code sent to your phone. So it is important we have this set up for our bank account, even for your WhatsApp too. You see, once in a while, WhatsApp will ask you to confirm this your password that you've set for it. Enable authentication on your password too, on your WhatsApp too, so that if somebody wants to hijack it, it will not be possible. These days and time, people will belong to WhatsApp group, different WhatsApp group, and their account, their WhatsApp phone is attacked. Once it's attacked, what happens next? They become victim. Through them, I've seen a lot. People's accounts are hijacked, and people start acting for money from their contacts. And they did it for somebody that is 90-something years that I knew. So please enable two-factor authentication on anything you are doing. If it's your bank account, your mobile phone, any ways that you are doing something online that relates to your data, enable two-factor authentication. It's always there. Your Gmail, do the same thing. Your email account, do two-factor authentication. And I was asking somebody yesterday, do you know which of the email providers that people hack a lot and they use them for spamming? It's Gmail, because Gmail is very easy to create. A lot of them are falling victim as a result of this. So do not be an example, a bad example. So that's why you are here. So another one, avoid suspicious links and downloads. Don't click on links in emails from unknown sources. I told you, just hover your cursor on that link that you're seeing. Move it around it. It will show you where that thing is taking you to. Look at this one now. I told you if it's not HTTPS, do not use that website. This one is saying http://www.emirates. You see, dot what? It does not say dot whatever the country is. Free ticket. Everybody is looking for free ticket. If you are looking for free things, you usually fall victim to this. So an email says you've won a prize. Click here to claim. They will put a sense of urgency. Click on it now. That if you don't do it now, you are going to lose out and it's no longer be available. Anything that is free, do not just go in for it. If you don't need it, you have not solicited for it. You see, when we're talking about advertising for this training, there was a flyer, specified somebody's number, proof of life. I am here. Not that we just want to collect you, your money, or yourself and make you something that somebody that could be used for other attacks. So remember, set that two-factor authentication. Even if someone steals your password, they can't access your account without the code sent to your phone. And then make sure you don't click on all these links that are not the true links of the organization you are supposed to get information from. The next one I want to talk about is secure your browser. Use privacy settings. Keep your browser updated. Use secure browsers. There are a lot of browsers there. Example I know I can beat my chest. They are very good. If you use Firefox, you use Google Chrome, I can tell you they are very good. If you now use Onions or you use Bob Suite, another one, these are the next level. Some other ones, there are a lot of attackers. Any website browser that allows you to download all those applications that they don't look after you, stay away from them because you never know. And look at this one, PayPal. This is HTTPS. Make sure you are using secure browser. Make sure your privacy setting is set, and use incognito or private mode for more privacy whenever you are browsing. Everybody should know this now. Safe browsing is important, and it starts with your browser, how you do your browsing and all that. If you have understood that, let's talk about your devices now. Your device, it's important to protect it against virus and other threats. So how do? You keep your antivirus software up to date. Run regular scans on your asset. So antivirus software can automatically scan your computer because you have set it to do so. If you don't have them, because of the free stuff that you want to get, you don't want to put them on your phone, well, it's up to you. But me, I'm like advocating for that today. So if you download any file from the website or from on the internet, your antivirus software would detect it and remove it immediately before you even know, because the antivirus provider, they've seen this and they've told you antivirus to pick anything that is like this. So that's why you need to update them all the time. Use firewalls. Because firewalls can help you to block unauthorized access. That's what firewall. Imagine a wall, right? You do walls for flooding, you do to prevent armed robbers, for thieves and all that, riots and all that. So we have our own, we call it firewall. It's like this. Imagine, this is your own mobile phone, your computer, this is what your firewall does. This is the internet, www. And this is your hardware firewall. That is your, what do you call, your device, your router in your home. That's where you do your firewall, develop it there. So anything that wants to come into your environment, your home, your office, this guy will check them first. So build your firewall. So these days we use software firewall. Before it used to be devices. So you can build firewall on your computer, hardware firewall, yes, part of your router. An example, a firewall can block incoming connection that look suspicious. So what does it do for us? It prevents unauthorized users from accessing your home network that you are connected to. So today you now know that you need firewall to be configured on your home router and even on your phone. And you can use VPN as well. So your Wi-Fi network, use strong password. Okay, this is important. on your router at home, your router comes with a username and password from the manufacturer. And if you go on Google, every one of us can get this username and password because the manufacturer of that firewall or router, they have put it on the manual and made it available on the internet. So everybody knows what username and password those devices use. So that is why you need to change that password and then enable encryption, WPA3. This is what you use. And hide your network name so that it's not seen by everybody. Because some people can hack into your Wi-Fi if it's not strong enough. There are tools they can use to hack into your Wi-Fi. A lot of them there. Use a password like this: house Wi-Fi at 2024 instead of 123 da, 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 da. If you have a good service provider, they will not allow you to even use 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. People are so lazy. Some people can even put, they say put password, they'll type password as their password. So this is, that's why we said we should use what? Passphrases. Combine 2 or 3 names together to make up the name of your password. So instead of password, make it passphrase. House of Dragon. And you can see the way they do the house now. So the longer, we now discover that the longer your password, the better it is, rather than saying, I want to combine all these gibberish together. The longer it is, the harder it becomes for the tools that they use to crack password. We have what we call Jack the Ripper. It's a software which the hackers use. They just continue trying several username and password because we call something birthday attack. It's beyond this class, but let me just throw it out there. It's called birthday attack. It doesn't mean you have to use the same password. The password is changed into something at the back end that could be same word changed into the same thing. And by the time they are changed into the same hash, in the end, they match, they call them birthday attack. And that's what that Jack the Ripper is doing. Until it's able to get hash that matches your own password. But the longer you make it, the longer it is for you to break that your password. So today, remember, passphrase is better than a word, password. So we use passphrase these days. Another regular backup your phone, backup your laptop, backup everything, both online and your physical storage. Because there could be a time that you don't even know, you can't access your online account to get the backup pass. But if you have it physically, you can use it to do what? And recover your assets. In case there's any question, please drop it. I will see it and I will take it along as I'm delivering the class. Okay, now that you know how to do all you need to do with respect to your device and yourself, let's now look at what are the costs of breaches to companies. It is important we know this, and if you know it for good. Of all attacks, 95% are due to human error. I've told you about insider attack. Human error, people will make mistake. You tell them to do A, they will want to take it to B without asking. Attacks from breaches, it has led to 29% data losses. It has led to revenue losses, about 29% of revenue losses. Okay, example, if you don't believe this data that I've given to you, when we had that global IT outage, what happened? CrowdStrike stock reduced by 25%. It dropped by 25%. So even though you can't relate with what I've told you, 29%, you can hear of 25%, you can Google it, fact check what I'm saying. It dropped. So it is real, this is what I'm giving you. And PII compliance, 80%. Right? They are due to personal identifiable information. So these are the things that happen all the time. Recently, 2 one of the two most important hospitals in the UK, in London specifically, St. Guy's and St. Thomas, they were attacked due to ransomware attack recently. And you know what happened? About 30,000 people missed the appointment, or 3,000 people missed the appointment, and they couldn't get access to the blood bank. Imagine, blood bank. They can't even, because they need to identify which blood matches whose blood, but they couldn't do that anymore, and they started asking for people to donate blood for other expedient work that they need to do. So it is very important for you to make sure you can join in this crusade to reduce attacks on systems. And make sure you are not someone that will make your organization to go through some of these things that leave bad taste in their mouth. I hope what I'm doing so far has really enlivened something in your mind, makes you to understand that it is important for us to be aware of cyber attacks, how it occurs, and how we can prevent, like I've told you about your device, your account, and your behavior on the internet. Now, let's see what are the things driving cybersecurity. What are the things making us to talk about cybersecurity the more? Now, let's look at them. Firstly, if you look at this cartoon, which was made by someone, not myself, and you can see what they're talking about, the name of the person, Pooja, Tikekar, and Rudra. They're the ones that made this, but this is a very good thing to look at. Some of these things, if you look at VPN, 70% respondents use company VPNs to securely log into the company network. Only 70%. What happened to the 30%? Look at, we mentioned, these are the people that are causing about 95% of the attacks. 500,000 plus Zoom logins on dark web that have been stolen and ready for sale. These are the things driving cyber attacks. The password ticking bomb, 93% of remote employees reuse password across applications and devices. Some of them even use the password of their organization on their LinkedIn or other websites. Even in this age and time that you can have browser generating automatically password for you. 25% in Q1 of 2020 experienced a 25% surge in ransomware attacks compared to 2019. And why am I giving you this data? Look at from 2020, that is when COVID-19 started. Every lot of people started working from home. You now imagine how the attacks will be now when everybody is refusing to go back to the office. So plan B, 50% of InfoSec professionals had no contingency plan to face COVID-19. 50%, if you are 100,000, 50,000 are not. So cloud security, 92% misconfigurations are there. Like ourselves, you have your mobile device, you misconfigure it, you just use it, no, I don't need to do anything, it's fine. That's how you become victim. You don't use VPN, you don't use anything. 4,000 COVID-related domains, over 4,000 coronavirus-related domains were registered globally out of this web. 3% were found to be malicious. Oh my God. You see? That is how it is. 400 is the 10% of 4,000. Right? What will now be the 3% if 400 it is? So you divide that by 100, multiply by 3. You see how many? And multiply that again to get up to the 4,000. You see a lot of things that you can now get. About 1,200 or thereabout are the ones So you need to, or 120. So you see what you are seeing, those websites, how many people going there? How many people are going there to this website? Okay, so let's see what happens to companies that have failed to do the right thing. Ransomware attack on Colonial Pipeline. This occurred in May 7, 2021. FBI seized 63.7 Bitcoins, which was valued at then at about 2.3 million US dollars, because the operation was ransomware. Colonial Pipeline is an American pipeline system that originates in Houston, Texas, and carries gasoline and jet fuel mainly to the southeastern United States. And they suffered ransomware attack. It impacted on their delivery. They cannot manage delivery of gasoline to the country. They did another one, the food supplier, meat supply in America too. So they don't spare anybody. They even did it to an hospital in Netherlands. British Airways too, happened to them in 2019, because it is happened, they are unaware as sort of poor security standard at the company, and personal data were released to the public. Names, email addresses, and all that. And they paid, I mean, 183 million pounds. That's what they paid. And look at Marriott Hotels. This one, due to acquisition, they acquired another company, another hotel, and, you know, and those hackers were there, and they copied their data, sold it, and from there, they have to pay 99 million pounds. Facebook too happened to them in 2018, improperly sharing data of estimated 7 million users, you know, and then Equifax, the same thing happened to them. So these are the things driving cybersecurity. Again, so we now have skill gaps. Look at this. In various countries, Israel leads employer demands for cybersecurity talent. They're looking for 5,000 as a den by Indeed. And look at various countries. Ireland, they need, UK, they need. Look at how they are worth in thousands. And not just, if you are seeing 5,000 here, it's not just 5,000. You have to add another 1,000 to it. That's about 5 million, like that. That's what they're needing in various places. So if you now look at cybersecurity skills deficit across countries, look at that. Position postings. You are posting in Israel, you posted 5,000, and then they were able to get like 1,000 plus. In Ireland, they posted this. Look at what they got, like that. So many people are trying to come into cybersecurity because there's a lot of aware. So again, we want to look at other means, things that are driving. Look at workforce gap by region. A lot is not done about Africa, but you can see in European Union, 291,000, right? APAC, like that. So globally, we have more than 3 million. As at that time, they said 4.07 million of people are looking for job across the world. I mean, sorry, are vacant, and they are looking for people to occupy. That's what I meant there. So those are the demands we have across the globe, exclusive of Africa. You see that? Because they don't have the data. But let's now drive back home a little bit. There were only 7,000 certified security professionals in the continent, one for every 177,000 in Africa in 2018. Okay? In 2020, AUC and UNDP survey found that African countries had an average cybersecurity competence of what? 0.21, less than 1. And more than 70% of African nations need additional cybersecurity infrastructure, with less than 40% having a specific set or cybersecurity policy framework. So many of the countries are not even aware, they have not done anything about it at all. So you and I are the workforces they are looking for. Wherever you are, you can even work remotely these days. All right. Then Accenture said South Africa had the third highest number of cybercrime victims worldwide, equivalent as of 2021, loss of rand, 2.2 billion rand. That's about 94.6 billion naira in naira. In November 2021, Kaspersky said Nigeria, South Africa, and Kenya saw 81 million cyber assaults in only 3 months. That is 2021, which are phishing schemes increased by 438% and 174 in Kenya. Shall I just shock you with one thing? If you go on the internet and look for Bangladeshi bank heist, that bank heist is not just Bangladesh that was affected. Nigeria banks were affected, but nobody's talking about them because our journalists in Nigeria, they are not interested in cyber attacks. They are rather ready to talk about things that are now moving the nations forward. But over here, another part of the world, they look at all these things and they put information out there. So again, 9 in every 10 African businesses are said to operate without necessary cybersecurity protocols in place. And imagine Interpol suggests that the continent, the GDP of Africa is reduced by what? Up to 10%, equivalent to $4.12 billion in 2021 by cybercrime alone. So there's a lot of money there. If you look at the percentage, you might say nothing. But if you look at the money, see there's a lot that is going on there. Okay, let's now look at what are the roles they are looking for in cybersecurity. You have security engineer, security architecture, security consultant, security manager, security analyst, and all that. Which sector is looking for them? In financial and insurance, IT, consultancy, aerospace, retail, public sector, those are the government and all that, various places that they are looking for them. So again, what are the certifications that people need? People in North America, Latin America, Europe, APAC, salary dependent. If you have this certification, 93,000. If you don't have, 76,000. In what? That's in North America, sorry. In Latin America, 21,000 if you have. If you don't have, 16,000. So you can see the difference between when you have, when you don't have. And there's something I want to arrive at, and I'll tell you. So, but let's look at another driver. Reliance on data is driving cybersecurity. Organizations need to secure their data because there is now responsibility upon them to make sure these data are kept safe. Your bank, they must make sure because they have your data they use for card and for what have you. Number of hackers, they are increasing. Variety of attacks, people are knowing about them now. And then you have quantifying security issues. If you don't know, can you quantify? You cannot. And privacy concerns, we have GDPR on all that. We have data privacy in Nigeria too as well now. So these things are making them to talk about cybersecurity. And breadth of skills needed. More people are needed to do this job because it's not something we are looking at before. Scale of attacks is big now. And regulatory compliance is driving people mad. Okay, so again, what are the most frequent cyber attacks that we see? We talked about social engineering before, talked about APT before, talked about ransomware, talked about denial of service, security misconfiguration as well. I mentioned that. So 14% are coming from social engineering, 10% from APT, nation-sponsored attacks, 9% from ransomware, and 9% from unpatched system. And you have 8% from denial of service. So if these are the things happening, they are the one driving cybersecurity. Let's now look. How do you navigate? If you are interested in becoming a cybersecurity person, you can start as a cybersecurity specialist or technician. You can become an analyst. You can become incident analyst. Then you move yourself, you become proper analyst if you like, or become cybersecurity consultant, penetration tester if you like. And then you become an advanced level person, cybersecurity manager, or become engineer, or become an architect, which is myself. All right. So how do you navigate this path? You can see this mind map. If perhaps you're a teacher, you're an engineer, those are the skills you have. There are fields that you can start with here. So we have various cybersecurity domains. For governance, these are the guys looking into regulatory compliance. They do auditing, they do risk assessment, they look into standard, they prepare policies, procedures, guidelines, and they enforce compliance within the organization. Some of us, we have experience with being an auditor where we are working. So there are many opportunities for workers to start and advance their careers within cybersecurity. This interactive career pathway shows key jobs within cybersecurity, common transition opportunities between them, and detailed information about how to navigate them. So you can become threat intelligence person if you are interested in becoming a police before. This one can make you to work within cybersecurity, doing something similar to policing. And you can work for the police too if you like along the line. Security operations, you know, people that like the police, they have people in the operations, they carry gun, they go out. There are some people, they just move around. Well, in security operations, all you just need to do, you monitor data leakages, use security information and event monitoring, do vulnerability management. This is where you see, like you take your car for MOT in Nigeria or UK, you take it there, they'll look at the car and say, oh, your shock absorber is having this problem. If you don't fix it within this time, this could happen. So they'll give you warnings. And these warnings are desirable for you to understand. So this is what we do. So you can do what? You can also become a framework and standard person, which you look into NIST. You have ISO 27001 and the other one, SANS, CSC, COBIT, and what have you. Many pathways. Can become a vulnerability person, asset inventory manager. So all these and more. You don't have to have studied IT or do computer science before you can say you want to come into cybersecurity. And what kind of salary would you get? I'm sorry, the one I have here is for the UK. You can do your homework on the Nigeria side of it. Some people can get up to 80,000. Some can get as low as 31,000. Some can get as high as 95,000, depending on what kind of job they are doing, determine their salary. So, like I told you, 4.20 million people are needed within the industry. And these are the type of salary you can get. Imagine if you get a job in Nigeria that can pay you up to, millions of naira because they know the kind of job you want to do. Not that alone, there is security in that job environment. You could be lucky and get a remote job too. You'll be doing the comfort of your home. However, your company is abroad. So there are many opportunities out there. So let's now do the mapping. I'm an accountant, banker, an inspector. Yeah, you can become an auditor. I'm a teacher. I don't have IT experience. Yeah, you can become a cybersecurity manager with your teaching skills. You can train people. You can do all that. Healthcare, you can do risk and compliance, right? And then if you're an analyst, come and become security analyst because you can do easy transition. I'm an engineer. I deal with measurement. Come. We have cybersecurity engineer too, developing many things. Myself, I just do door security. I'm a doorman, CCTV. Yes, you can become a information security officer or manager in the end. So what am I saying? There is this adage that was put out there by somebody. We don't know the fellow, but I like it a lot. If you know your destination, your journey is short. If you know how to get there, your journey is shorter. But if you have someone taking you there, your journey is the shortest. And how do you get involved? There are many ways you can get involved in cybersecurity. You need to go there and do your research. You will now see there are some skill gaps that are out there. Cybersecurity professionals has increased significantly because the demand is high in 2021. This continues and surpassed the post-pandemic recovery in demand seen in autumn 2020. So skill gaps tend to be, relatively speaking, equally prevalent in a range of areas. Like what? Incident management, investigation or digital forensics, through to cybersecurity governance and management. So there are many roles out there that you can just jump on the wagon and become part of the train of people that are within cybersecurity. And it's easy, like I said, you can transition from your present knowledge and understanding into cybersecurity. So because employees recruitment agents consider the cybersecurity labor market an increasing candidate-driven market. What does this mean? It is the job seekers market. There are a lot of positions out there, but you cannot get this job without you having somewhat knowledge or training about what is expected. So if you have done all this, you've gotten this information, it is very much implied that you need to do some homework and be participatory in some of the ways in which you can come into cybersecurity. So it's not a closed door opportunity, it's an open door opportunity. So think about it deeply. No need to rush into it and then run into things that you don't understand. So I want to challenge you. Let us do this ourselves and see what it leads us to and see what we can get. Okay, let's move on. For instance, like I mentioned to you when we started, I said Prefort Consult, we do training. We have various training. Example of them is our accelerated cybersecurity training with this number of modules. People that we have trained in the UK, they've secured jobs in beautiful places. And they came from different backgrounds. They could be accountants, engineer, business analysts, managers, teachers, or in the academic or wherever profession they belong to. And if you want to fact check whether there is job, these are roles that I would like you to look at. Look at IT, audit and compliance, management, audit management, and all that. There are many of these out there. There's a question there asking me what is QC, QA experience in the manufacturing sector? What is the pathway? Like you can see there, you can become IT audit and compliance manager. I have somebody who was compliance manager in the old Visa phone, but today is working in information security now as compliance manager, looking at information standard within cybersecurity. And then it's comfortable working there because we have standard which we have covered within our training. This person became certified and could now evidence that as what he's doing. So a lot of you here, you have various skills. My aim today is to make you aware of what are the opportunities within cybersecurity, which I believe I have done today. And with that in mind is making you to ask several questions. And somebody is asking about OBOT. OBOT, I mean, it's a free proxy app. I've not used it that much, but it makes you anonymous on the internet for users of Android and iOS operating system. It allows traffic from different apps. You can check more about it on the internet, but it's not just for everybody, but it's made from people that made Tor. And the story about Tor was made by US Navy. So it's not for everybody. You have to have better skills in using all these tools before you can go to OBOT. So it's a free proxy app that provides anonymity if you like. So because it's for Android, you can download it and use it again. So like I said, there are good applications there, but just be careful of where you get your application. Do not go and download malware onto your system. Get a good one. So if you are looking for the difference, I told you it was made by the maker of Tor, right? So they are both tools that allow users to access the internet more privately and securely. And the key difference is that you see OBOT is a background app that routes all of your device internet traffic through the Tor network, while Tor browser is a standalone web browser that uses a Tor network for browsing. I hope you understand now. So one is a browser, while the other one is proxy driven rather. It makes you anonymous and it can drive your internet usage anonymously for others not to know your destination or where you're coming from. So Tor browser is generally considered more secure than OAuth for most use cases. But you are going into the advanced level, which I know I don't want to lose people in the class. Again, if you have any other question, please make it known. So next, what do we cover? I've said we cover introduction to information security more than what we have done today. Then we'll talk about networking and vulnerability management, where we look at what are the weaknesses we are looking for in systems, for them not to be victim of attacks. And then we'll do what we call introduce you to standards, the privacy and regulations, as well as do information security analysis concept, what analyst does, and cloud itself, teach you about cloud, and then teach you about business continuity planning as well as disaster recovery, like the global IT challenge that we had recently. Then we'll help you about CV writing, interview preparation, and opportunities in cybersecurity. So what would this lead you to? People that have come to our training, typical certification they get ISO 27001 foundation certificate, which are popular, right? But there are some unpopular ones that I've not covered here. You can get some vulnerability management certification through us. You can also get information security analysis certification through us. So these are not out there. And our training is one of the best out there, not because I'm the trainer or the facilitator. I have other people that will come to help in this delivery of this training, that to the level that after the training, you have the support of networking, mentoring, and then it's a community that you come into. And we are doing this to be part of the people that are safeguarding our community. So this one I'm doing for free now is to let you know what is out there for you in terms of what are the attacks that you may fall victim of. So what can our training lead you to? You can become a cybersecurity consultant, analyst, engineer, manager, auditor, like that. And on the left, risk assessor, vulnerability manager, network, and all that are the things that we'll cover, and all that and more. Once you have covered that, you'll be rest assured that you can secure a job within cybersecurity with time. Okay. In life, when we are acquiring knowledge, you know nothing. Today, you know something. So you gradually putting some time into acquisition of that knowledge. You are moving along this line. Confidence is getting up to a point you have peak of stupidity. You say, oh, I don't think I know anything. And then your confidence does what? Starts dropping because you don't think you know anything. Then valley of despair. Should I continue or not? No, is this for me or not? All right. Then you pick up your confidence gradually. It's not as quick as this one. You start doing that gradually. Then you become enlightened. Gradually, then you come there and you become sustained. So what do we do? At this stage, let me just annotate so that we can all understand where we help you. Our help, where it comes into all this. You know, everybody would easily fall into this environment. And this is where you need support a lot, where we support you to start gaining your confidence until you get to the plateau of stability. I have seen people that have struggled around this one because they said they want to do it themselves. But I can tell you for a fact, in cybersecurity, you need a mentor. I'm not saying you should take me as your mentor, as somebody to do it for you. You can choose somebody else. But do not be like some people that will say, I know I will learn it myself. I'll do it myself. It is very easy. Well, you can do it. What we give you is experience. You gather experience, you gather momentum, and like that, you start moving. So it is very important if you want to do all this, you find a mentor for you, right? Then you talk about, somebody said, I find it interesting scanning links for malicious code, sir, by making use of online tools, which I find safe, sir. Which possible categories of cybersecurity can I work? And I would like to take my certification course, sir. Thank you so much. Yeah, what you are doing, you're a cybersecurity analyst with what you are doing, because underneath cybersecurity analysis, we have threat intelligence. These are the people gathering information about attacks in the wild and advising the organization about that. So that's a very good way of finding yourself, how to get into the industry. So thank you for that question. I hope I've answered it correctly. Then, so I've told you about that. So, but there's something important I want to show you again. You have to be courageous, ambitious, and resilient when you want to do cybersecurity. You don't just wake up and say, okay, fine, I want to do cybersecurity without making any contribution. It doesn't work that way. That is not the way it works. You have to make what kind of contribution. And this contribution is what will take you far in what you want to do in life. So it's not just for the lily-livered. Just wake up and say you want to do cybersecurity without you putting in effort. Remember, it's just like you want to write an exam. You have to sit and prepare. You don't know where the examiner will come. So you have to prepare very well and be well grounded before you can say you want to dabble into it. So I hope with this and more today, I've been able to guide you through what cybersecurity is, what are the attacks, what are the threats, how to prepare protect yourself against such attacks, and what are the things driving cybersecurity, and how you can get into it. So I want to believe I've done justice to that topic. So if there's any question, please keep them coming. And on that note, I want to say a profound thank you for listening to me. And I'll leave you with this. Confidence is what you have before understanding the details. Thanks a lot for listening to me.